Back at Chiller Expo, I'm here with author Johnny Ray Miller with the new book, When We're Singing. Johnny, how you doing, buddy?
Hey, nice to meet you, man.
What's going on? I mean, I'm a big Partridge Family fan. I love the book. Why don't you tell everybody what it's all about?
Sure. So my background was in the theater, and I had managed a theater and always had this idea that I wanted to try to bring David Cassidy into the theater. So in 2009, we brought him in, and the concert went so well that I got the idea to do this book. I had said to David on the way back to the airport, why does nobody ever do a book about the music of the Partridge Family? And he kind of joked with me and said, I don't know, but, I'll get behind you if you do it.
Now, let me ask you this. When was this, and what theater was it?
This was 2009 at the Barrow Civic Theater in Franklin, Pennsylvania.
Okay, great.
Small theater, so getting him to come there was kind of a big deal. So he came, and it was really successful. We were sold out 3 weeks before the concert, and he was really impressed with what we did. So when I told him what I wanted to do, he liked the idea, and I went off and just kind of started on it. So 5 years later, I come back to him and, I did this, and he wrote the foreword for the book.
That's awesome. How did you meet him originally?
Originally, I went to see him in shows through the years. I saw him in Blood Brothers. I saw him in Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat. Pretty much every time he performed, I went. But this particular time, I was the managing director of the theater, and I wanted to bring him in and do a concert with him. And so that was kind of like a high point for me to be able to have him come in, and then for it to be so successful. Then this book idea started, and so the angle of the book was to talk about the music, which had never been talked about before. So, these great artists wrote for the Partridge Family. When you think Partridge Family, you think marketing, image, bubblegum. But
It's like Elvis Presley almost.
Yeah, you're right.
Elvis never wrote any of his music.
You're right. But that's not what this music is. So I looked up all of the surviving singers and songwriters. People would be shocked to find out, like, Mike Appel wrote for the Partridge Family, who at the same time was producing Springsteen.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Cashman and West, who at the same time was producing Jim Croce. And they're writing for the Partridge Family. Paul Anka wrote for the Partridge Family. Rupert Holmes wrote for the Partridge Family. Yeah, some of these great songwriters. Bobby Hart.
A lot of those songs were on the radio anyway.
Yeah.
I mean, David Cassidy, you can't take it away from him. He's a great singer.
No, you can't. I think his voice is so underrated. I think he should be remembered right up there with all of the classics of the 70s. He's got a voice that is riveting.
Yeah, he definitely needs to be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
I absolutely agree. The Rock and Roll Hall of Fame is a backer of this book. I did a ton of research there.
Oh, wow, that's great.
Yeah, they were behind me 100%. I spent probably 6 months at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame archives doing research there, and I compiled a whole bunch of information that no other library in the country had at the time.
Well, it seems like he got a lot of work into it. I got a lot of authors on my show. The book itself, very professionally done. It's heavy. You can tell the paper is good. The picture quality is great. Tell us a little bit about the process and what it took you to actually. Yeah. It's a nightmare.
It was. It's kind of a cool story. I met a guy along the way who'd been published 6-7 times over. He had several books out on music. He had written a book on Kiss. Ken Sharp.
Okay. Ken Sharp.
You know Ken Sharp. Yeah. So he heard what I was doing, and he contacted me, and he said, John, I have a couple of interviews that you need to put in that book. He had the last interview with Wes Farrell, the last interview with Tony Romeo about the Partridge Family, and he gave them to me to use in this book. So he just wanted to see it get done. So he says, I'll help you get a publisher when the time comes. So the time came, and he was telling me about the possibilities for publishing. Now I'm a novice, right? My first book is this book, and so I had this vision of what I wanted it to be. And when he started telling me, how a publisher was going to take control of it, and you'll probably get a paperback, and I was like, oh. So he tells me about Kickstarter, which I knew nothing about at the time.
Yeah, Kickstarter is hard unless you know someone that's going to do it the right way.
Yeah, and so I had a background. Well, I ran a theater. So I know how to fundraise. So I always joke with people, you want me on your fundraising committee. But I never envisioned I'd be doing that anymore. I kind of left it behind. And he's telling me about Kickstarter. My first reaction was, no. And then I got to thinking about how I could control this the way I wanted it if we won. So the budget that I came up with was for exactly what we have here. It's high quality everything. Hardback, it's almost 500 pages long, 64 pages of full color with over 500 photos. And we won with 3 days to spare. We won at 110% and raised over $27,000.
That's great.
Yeah.
Because just putting this book together, and you're not really selling it for a lot of money either.
Right, yeah. It retails at 40, but I sell it for 30.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, I mean, on Amazon, where could you find this?
It's not on Amazon, and intentionally, it's only available through my website at whenwe'resinging.com.
That's the best way to do anything. Then you don't got to give them their shakedown fee.
I never dreamed I would go this direction, but I would never go back and do it any other way now because the reward of it has been phenomenal. I mean, I can't tell you, this experience with this book has been, I don't have words for it. It came out in December 2016, and it's still going.
Well, I can't wait to read it. I'm definitely going to pick one up. So what's like your favorite part, in closing, your favorite part of the book for like a Partridge Family fan should really look forward to? I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of great stuff in there.
I would say, because nothing has ever been written about the music before, there's an album-by-album commentary and a song-by-song commentary of every album. And all of the songwriters have told the stories behind all of the songs.
That's great.
I think that's pretty fun for
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah. So that's probably my favorite.
All right, well, great. Well, John, it was a pleasure, man.
Thank you.
Listen, where were you from before we go?
I'm from just outside Pittsburgh on the border of Ohio.
Oh, okay. So I was going to say, when you're in New York after the fall, I got a new late night show coming out.
I'd love to come.
It's called Up Late with Johnny Potenza. It's a whole studio audience, and it's a sit down. And I would love to have you on the show.
I would love to come. That'd be a blast. Yeah.
All right, great. So we're here with our boy John, back at Chiller.